what is the strategic CAC if we want to flip this on its head, if we want to turn this around? And again, I'm going to draw another circle. What do we need? What would be useful if we wanted to reverse this? We need some sort of predictable leads engine. Some people might use the word funnel, but I believe that funnel goes beyond that. A predictable leads engine needs to involve a little bit of content. It needs to have a function where you can book the meeting. We call it an AWP, an appointment with purpose, not some vague invitation to catch up. And you will need some sort of like application funnel. An application funnel where people are voluntarily entering your world and making the decision to be part of it so that you can follow up or they can take themselves on their next journey, next part of the journey. We call it an application funnel because somebody is applying to meet with you. So if we talk about the strategic cost, one thing that I do know is that people don't have content. So they spend half their life convincing. I know that people are randomly reaching out to people with vague offers and invitations to catch up. So they don't have a strategic approach to getting a meeting, an appointment with purpose. Everything is done manually, booking meetings, chasing people, following up, pre-qualifying people. And then you get on a call with someone. You know, down here, we talked about the idea of rejection or multiple meetings or trying to explain something to people 1,000 times. That can be avoided as well too if you have some sort of like funnel. This is Ben. Let me show you Ben. So when I talk about some sort of predictable leads engine, a PLE, what I'm typically talking about is something that we call our recipe. Now, a recipe is something that we've been teaching and training for almost a decade now, right? And we began teaching and training this before the word funnels were really used in any popular way. So we called it the recipe because it was the recipe about getting customers and clients, largely on autopilot. And we can break it down as something as simple as you post something on social media and you invite someone to your landing page. When you invite someone to your landing page and they opt in, we will redirect them to some sort of mini qualification form or diagnostic. After someone completes their diagnostic, we invite them to book a meeting with you, an appointment with purpose, which is the ultimate online transaction. When somebody opts in for your gift, we want to deliver on the promise, send them an email, make sure that we give them the thing that we promised. We want to introduce them to us and tell our story. That's called the welcome email. Follow that up with an offer to demonstrate that we're commercial. So we're reliable, we're memorable, we're commercial. We're doing that in 3 emails. Now, you've probably heard it said before that according to the psychologists of the world is that it takes 7 touches for someone to truly trust you. According to Google, the average in the B2B space is 14. So it's going to be somewhere between 7 and 14. Well, look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, all automated. This is Ben. In the past, I would get an email from a prospect saying, please call me. I had no information about that prospect. Now I get a full list of their email, their website, how much money they're making, whether they're making profits, what they want to do with their business. My phone hardly rings anymore, but I get 4 times the amount of inquiries per day. I now have to refuse coffee meetings unless they book a 15-minute teleconference, and then it is a 2-week wait to get to see me. I now have too much work on. Thank you. My phone hardly rings anymore, but I get 4 times the amount of inquiries per day. And that is because Ben has a predictable leads engine. All right. We're talking about the strategic cost. If you don't have a strategic closing framework before, during, after the meeting, life is tough. If you don't have a predictable leads engine that's going to end the convincing, stop with the random act of marketing, stop you being over dependent on referrals, all of those things, the cost will be high. And people wonder why it takes ages to sign a client. Number 3, can anyone guess what my number 3 is going to be? This is the other mistake that we all make. The biz is you. Is that you? Does it sometimes feel that way? I remember years and years ago, I injured my back. I dropped something at a conference. I bent over to pick it up. Something in my back went, ah! I stopped being able to walk. I went and saw a specialist. The specialist said that I had a little donut in my spine called a disc. And the force had gone like that, and all the jelly in that jam donut had gone, and they would need to operate. And I was given a 1 in 20 chance that I'd never walk again. And there was a 1 in 20 chance that I'd never be able to perform my manly duties ever again. Very awkward for a guy in his early 30s, no kids at that time. And I had to work from home for 3 months. I had to work on my back from home. And this is 15 years ago, before teleconferencing and all the bit. So let me ask you, if you couldn't work for 3 months, what would your business look like? If you couldn't work for 6 months, what would your business look like? Would you have a business at all? All right, well, if we're talking about the strategic cost, one of the biggest costs that I'm going to say is commodity marketing or commodity business ownership. What's a commodity? A lump of coal is a commodity. Commodity is something that looks the same, seems the same, sounds the same as everybody else selling that same thing. And the only way that you can compete in a commoditized market is what? What's the only way that you can compete in a commoditized market? Absolutely right. It's price. It's a fight to the bottom now, isn't it? I have to say it. I look at most businesses, and when the business is you, they sound the same, they look the same, they do the same stuff. I say, what's your USP? And they say, our USP is that we provide better quality service. Right? We make our clients feel special. You know what? Do you know what that is? That's table stakes. It means nothing. I mean, like that's the bare minimum that your customers and clients expect from you to just stay in the game. And then we look at this other stuff, the marketing, the sales, the delivery, the business is you. All those things are all you, which means that there's a handbrake on scale. There will be there's a scale. Let me write this. I'm going to write down the words right over here. Scale ceiling. We sometimes call this the hustle ceiling, but you can only grow so big because the marketing is you, the sales is you, but most importantly, the delivery is you. Now, if you want the delivery to stop being you, what are you going to need? So I've asked you the question before, the pointy end, I've kept it simple. A rate card, what a great place to start. When it comes to the chasing, I talked about a predictable leads engine. I talked about a couple of different elements of that. When it comes to this particular part, where the business is you, how are we going to change that up? How are we going to fix that?